What's up everyone, Indie Voice here, and welcome back to the channel. This one's a little different. This is not an indie game. This is Dune Awakening, and yeah, this was provided to me by the devs. Quick disclaimer before we start, I have never watched a Dune anything. I have not read any of the books. My entire Dune knowledge before this game was basically giant sandworm lives here. So I'm coming into this with zero lore attachment, zero nostalgia, just vibes, gameplay, and how it feels to play. Also, I am honestly shocked on how this runs on my PC and it immediately catch on fire. So let's talk about Dune Awakening and the Lost Harvest DLC. At its core, Dune Awakening is a survival MMO set on Arrakis, and even if you don't know Dune, the game does a solid job pulling you in. This world does not care about you. Heat is a constant threat. Sandstorms will ruin your plans, other players add real tension, and yes, the sandworm is always hanging over everything. The survival systems are genuinely engaging, water management actually matters, movement and travel feels risky, planning ahead is rewarded. But before you even step foot in the desert, there is a decentish character creator. It's not insanely deep, not like Code Vein or something, but it gives off enough options to make your character feel personal, which is honestly all I want in an MMO. Visually, the game looks great. Wide open deserts, industrial sci-fi structures, and the grounded art style that sells the scale and danger of the world. Combat is fine. It works, it's functional, it doesn't blow me away, but it doesn't get in the way either. PvP encounters definitely add tension, which helps carry the moment-to-moment gameplay. That said, the game still feels like it's growing. There's some MMO jank here and there, some pacing issues, and a few systems that feel like they need more time in the oven, but the foundation is solid. Now, let's talk about the Lost Harvest DLC, and yeah, this is where everything shifts. Funcom describes this DLC as an epic journey, air quotes here and there. Based on both of my experience and the player feedback, that description feels very optimistic. A lot of the DLC takes place in a very small, confined areas, including a tiny rock island where missions boil down to short back and forth tasks that barely justify the travel time. You'll also be sent to locations that already exist in the base game. The Carib bases, the Imperial testing stations, with only minor additions on paper, that's fine, but in practical, it feels like busy work rather than an expansion. One of the biggest complaints players have, and I've seen throughout this, and I've also felt this after playing this, is the constant forced travel. You're sent long distances to complete simple objectives, sometimes bouncing between major hubs back to back. The stretches of short DLC into something that feels much longer than it actually is, instead of feeling like a new chapter, or it feels like the game is padding runtime. And this reaction isn't coming out of nowhere. As shown on the Steam page for the DLC, the Lost Harvest DLC currently sits at 753 mostly negative reviews on Steam. And after playing it, I understand why people are very frustrated. For $13, players expected a meaningful new content, such as new gameplay layers, strong story beats, or something that truly expands the experience. What they got feels closer to reused spaces, minimal narrative payoff, and missions stretched thin to fill time. If this DLC were cheaper or purely cosmetic, the reaction probably wouldn't be this harsh, and as it stands, it just doesn't justify its price. For the pros and cons, pros: strong atmosphere and world design, survival systems are engaging, decent character creator, base game has long-term potential. Cons: combat lacks depth, MMO jank still present, Lost Harvest DLC feels padded, the DLC price does not match its content. Now, don't get me wrong here, there's a solid, good game here. Not perfect, but absolutely worth watching as it continues to develop. Dune Awakening gets a solid gameplay rating, while the Lost Harvest DLC gets a rating of needs growth. This DLC needed more substance, better pacing, and a lower price, preferably all three. That's my honest take on Dune Awakening and the Lost Harvest DLC. If you've played it, especially the DLC, I want to hear your experiences. Did it work for you, or did it feel like a filler? Drop a like if this helped, or subscribe for more honest reviews. And as always, this is Indie Voice, and I'll see you in the next one.